Hello and welcome to Green Scene with Marianne DiMascio, a show about sustainable and green issues. And I'm very excited today to have two students from Whitman-Hanson High School. And they are part of the Student Environmental Awareness Club that has been very active. And I'd just like to start off first with a brief introduction. So,
Sure. My name is Riley Getchell. I'm a senior here at Whitman-Hanson, and I've been president of S.E.A.C for 2 years, but kind of 3. Once our last president left in the spring of my sophomore year, I kind of took over then. So I would say for about 3 years now, I've been kind of heading up S.E.A.C.
Great.
Hi, I'm Olivia Sirignano, and I'm a sophomore at Whitman-Hanson, and I joined S.E.A.C freshman year, so I've been doing this for like 2 years now, I guess. But I really love it. It's a good experience, and yeah.
So S.E.A.C it's kind of exactly what it sounds like. We do environmental projects around the school. We've branched out in recent years to our community. Every Monday, we collect the recycling from the entire school. During COVID, we had a waste collecting service that kind of took it over when it was a little too unsanitary to take the recycling.
Right.
But we found out this year that they've actually been throwing they've been taking the recycling, but they've been throwing it into the trash. So that's kind of been an uphill battle this year. It's like, take back the recycling. We've put up a couple signs that's like in a few different languages. Please don't take the recycling. The students will do it.
Great advocacy.
Yeah. So every Monday we collect the recycling. It sounds boring, but it's actually really fun.
Yeah.
We kind of make a day out of it every week. And then Wednesdays we focus on projects. We're all really brought together by just a desire to really help the community around us and fight climate change, I guess.
Yeah.
I joined the club freshman year in 2019, pre-COVID, and back then we really just took the recycling. But I remember feeling a kind of sense of impending doom about climate change when I was like 14 or 15, which kind of just sounds wild, but I remember hearing about S.E.A.C in school, and I was like, if there's something small I can do, I would love to do it. And then ever since, we've been kind of branching out and doing more in our community.
It's so great to see what you've been doing. What drew you to S.E.A.C?
Honestly, I feel like the same thing, because about like when COVID happened, I was just like, I became more aware of like issues that were going on in like our society, and I kind of became very attracted to like, oh my God, climate change. It's awful. And just the waste that I see around Whitman, like in general, in my town, in my own front yard, people just throw things in my front yard, and I was like, I want to do something about this. And I found out that S.E.A.C existed, and I like checked it out, and it kind of like was driving to do exactly what I was like concerned about and kind of angry about. So it was like a perfect opportunity. So.
Me too. And I feel like S.E.A.C, like I didn't expect so many kids to be passionate about the same thing, but it really just brings us all together, and we kind of become like a very tight-knit group every year.
I feel like it's one of the best clubs in this school.
Absolutely.
Most driven, most like community. I feel like in other clubs I don't get a sense of community like in this one.
Oh, that's so great to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, what you hope for people in school, to have that community and have a passion and a mission to do something. And I will say it's great. I, in addition to doing this show, I also am involved in Green Hanson, and your group has been great helping out at different events.
Thank
and, you know, so it's done so much. So. And Mr. Kozak, who runs it, he's been a great advisor. I don't know if you want to say anything about his.
Yeah. Mr. Kozak's been a huge help with any of our projects. Like, he's always willing to stay after till like 3 o'clock some days, helping us make posters or something. He's always willing to pitch in and help. I would say, like, I run a different club, and our advisor, he really just like sits back at his desk and like lets us use his classroom. But Mr. Kozak, he's actually very involved, and I feel like that helps us be more involved ourselves in the school.
It's like he himself is also very passionate about this club as well. He's not very...
Yeah, like he's a part of S.E.A.C.
Yeah, he's a part of it. He's like a member.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us about your most recent, or the thing you're working on right now. I know you're working on a few things, but I know the food waste is a big one.
So lately we've been working on what we call Food Waste Week, which is going to take, it's going to go into action next week, the week after next week.
Which is, just say the dates, March 6th?
March 6th to
the 10th.
10th.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't see it. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to have bins at every lunch for every grade, and we're going to aim to have them throw their like food waste products in that bin instead of just the trash. And after every lunch, we're gonna weigh it and see how much there is. And by the end of the week, whatever, like see how many grades, like see what all the grades, like the weight is for how much waste we've
Reduced?
Yeah, reduced.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry. But the plan is that if we can actually get our like school to reduce that much waste and just save that much food, then maybe we can go on to try to implement compost bins permanently in the school, and maybe that can even be an example for like getting compost waste in the town, along with recycling and trash. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
Big vision. I love connecting the school to the community, because people who, I mean, parents, adults, teachers, they listen to young people, and so it's so great that you're setting an example. Did you want to add anything, Riley, about that?
Sure. Yeah, we, along with the food waste bins, we were talking with the food services director about potentially making an area for unopened food waste, because like so many kids just throw away their like totally closed up milk or like totally wrapped chips or something. So we're thinking it'd be a good way, and especially for kids who maybe didn't have enough to eat that day as well, they can just go to the unopened food waste table and like trade something out.
Right.
We're hoping to start that
great.
too.
Yeah.
And so I've been reading recently about food waste. Green-Hanson also is doing a March project. We're calling it Food Waste in March? Question mark? That's madness.
I like that.
Playing on the March Madness basketball theme. And then we're doing tips 31 ways that you can fight back. So a tip a day for March. But what has driven us is the fact that food waste is one of the top solutions for climate change.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you want to say anything about that, or.
Sure, yeah. When the food waste is like dumped in the landfills, it creates more methane, which is one of actually the worst gases for climate change in our atmosphere. Sorry, I like interrupted you.
No, that was not at all. This is great.
Yeah, so we're really excited for Food Waste Week, and we're hoping it like kind of spurs like a little more awareness, and kids actually like realize what they're doing.
Yeah, and maybe they can take action themselves after like the first week or two, and it can just keep going and be fueled by them instead of us. So that would be really great.
That's great. So are you doing posters and PSAs or?
We're doing the PSA for the news, right?
Yeah, we're gonna
public
try
service
to put,
announcement.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna try to put PSAs on the news, and then starting the week after break, we'll get tons of posters up. Make sure everybody, no one is exempt from hearing about food waste.
Yeah, everybody needs to know about it.
Yeah, we want everyone to know.
Yeah. So.
Sounds like a great project. I wish you success, and I hope the food waste, you see it diminish as the week goes on.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what about other projects? Either what you're ready to say one. Go ahead.
So we're also working on a nip ban to ban the like small alcohol nip bottles. We actually got the idea from you guys, so we're really grateful for that. So we got the legislation from you guys, like the language, and then we really just typed it up like in one meeting. It was actually pretty simple. And then I got a few signatures from my family that lives in Whitman, and we actually only needed 10. So I just went to the town hall, submitted it the same day, and we'll go to town meeting on May 1st and just kind of like say our piece and see if they vote on it, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully.
And what interests you about this? What is?
So there's like, for this one, there's really like a social factor and an environmental factor, because we want to get the litter, because nips are like one of the biggest causes of litter besides like plastic bags, of course. And then like, what was I going to say? There's nips all along the roads, and that's telling you that A, people are littering, and 2, people are drunk driving on our roads.
Which is just like completely unsafe, especially on the main road, which our school is on, which I live on too. And it's like, just kind of awful. You don't want to see that in your community. Like even if you don't really care about the environment, you don't want to see like alcohol bottles just in front of your house, in front of a school, in front of just public spaces. So I feel like people might care about that a lot.
Exactly. And I feel like we'll get half support from people who hate littering and half support from people who just don't want that consumption of alcohol like on our roads. So hopefully we'll gain a lot of support. After break, once it gets warmer.
Oh, there's the bell. Time to go to class.
It's funny. after break, when it gets warmer, we're gonna try to do like a cleanup of Franklin Street to just like total up how many nips we find on the street, and then kind of like show it at town meeting or maybe before, and like educate people on that and be like, this is how many alcohol bottles we found on our roads. Like
Right. You're talking about right outside the school.
Yeah. Like why wouldn't we want to ban these?
Yeah.
We only have like one alcohol store and like 2 bars in Whitman, so I don't think it'd be a huge detriment to our economy.
No.
And I put the same provision in the plastic bag ban where like if this causes undue hardship for the business, then they can have like a 6-month exemption. So I feel like we can show that at town meeting and be like, it's not like a hard deadline. You guys can
It's
have
like
some
you
room
can
to grow.
slowly like take them away.
Yeah.
And so you talked about the plastic bag ban, and love to hear more about that. That was a great effort.
So my freshman year in October of 2019, we actually helped you guys at town meeting when Green-Hanson wanted to implement their own plastic bag and styrofoam ban. So S.E.A.C, we really just spoke at that meeting. We didn't have a hand in passing it.
That made a difference. There were 7 of you that got up and spoke at the town meeting, and it was just so impressive. It was silent when you all spoke, and you really spoke from the heart about what it meant. And I think you did have a hand in passing that bill, even though you didn't work on the beginning parts of it.
So after that in October, and then we were in lockdown in that spring in 2020. We couldn't really, coming back to school that year, we couldn't really do the recycling like we normally did. It was really tough for us to do regular projects. So some of us thought, oh, why don't we do the same thing in Whitman? That's something we can do from Zoom. So I kind of just got the language from you guys, and I actually wrote the 2 laws, which is something that's crazy to say.
Right.
But I wrote 2 laws. And then we got, I think it was 50 signatures that time, because it was a special town meeting. So that took a lot of petitioning. We got the 50 signatures, then we submitted it to the town hall, and then in June, once it was time for the town meeting, we went to that town meeting too, and we went all the way up to the balcony for the non-voter section, and we spoke just like we did in 2019, and I think that really touched a lot of the adults there. We had a couple people who spoke out, but overall it passed unanimously again, so that was huge for us. My brother still is like, oh, Riley, your friend's mad at you because you banned plastic bags in Whitman. I'm like, I don't think it matters to a 13-year-old.
Yeah, no, sometimes my mom's like, these paper bags, they're always breaking, and I'm like, that was us.
It's great to show that you can do something and have an impact no matter your age. Lots of times people are like, oh, they're young, they can't do it, but it's very powerful.
Young people have a lot more power than people think. I feel like a lot of the time it's like young people are more open to making changes, I feel like.
Absolutely.
And especially around climate change, because it will impact you.
Yeah, it'll impact our generation more than an older generation. We're gonna be the ones living through it.
Right. Yeah. So
Exactly.
I'm sorry for whatever we did. We're around and it happened, and I've been working hard to undo it. But it's definitely something that needs to be worked on. So thank you both, and
of course,
S.E.A.C for working on things. So what about other projects? You had another one you were mentioning.
So yeah, we had the Food Waste Week, we have the nip bans, and then we had a fundraiser recently for we had a little movie night when we watched the Lorax movie, which is
environmental movie. Yeah, do you want to just say what it is for people who don't know?
So basically, the Lorax, it's it's based on the Dr. Seuss book about this greedy man who kind of chops down all of the trees in this forest, and all the animals are kind of like, no, don't do that. And he does, and then all the trees are gone, and he has no more business. And they're trying to bring back the trees in the current world, so they're kind of trying to make a belated change, showing that it's not too late to make a change if you actually care a lot. So we played that in the auditorium, and it had a really big turnout. We made $200 from that, which we're going to use for future projects, and we used some of it for t-shirts for our clubs, so it was pretty successful.
That's great. So you had community members coming, young people mostly, children?
Yeah, a lot of freshmen actually.
I know, a lot of freshmen were interested.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's a great movie. It's just very powerful.
Yeah. very heartwarming.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were glad that we could like reach out to the community because I feel like a lot of clubs this year like haven't been able. So our whole computer system went down at the beginning of the year. So it was kind of hard to like advertise to the younger grades because like we couldn't print out posters, we couldn't put stuff on the news. So it was a little difficult recruiting, but we actually got a big group of freshmen to come in this year.
I know we've had a lot of freshmen join the club this year, more than I thought, because I thought it was dwindling at the end of last year, but I mean, I came in first day that we had it this year, and there were like 8 or 9 other like new members, which was really nice.
People have heard about what you've done probably and said, I want to be involved.
And very consistently too, you know, it's very nice to see like new people joining.
So if anyone's watching this show and wants to join, they show up on Monday or Wednesday?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Just show up to Mr. Kozak's room. Yep, S.E.A.C. There's posters, oh my gosh. There's posters right outside his room. And I'm sure that if you talk to any of the members, they'll tell you it's so much fun and that we're always looking for new members. I think in the Google Classroom, we're at 49 members now.
Yeah.
It's very good. Oh, that's great.
Maybe 49 people don't show up every week, but just to know that 49 people are tuning in to see what's happening at S.E.A.C, it really just, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes at the meetings, maybe there's not as many people, but a lot of people show up for the projects. So
Absolutely.
for our events, like with Green-Hanson, like a lot of people show up for that.
Oh, it's so
That's
wonderful.
nice.
When we did the Earth Day celebration last year.
Yeah.
That was very
You did a
fun.
table at one of them too, didn't you? Or maybe
Oh yeah, at
Whitman
Hanson
Day
Day.
or Hanson Day.
Labor Day and Hanson Day, I think,
Yeah. Do you guys think you'll have clean up, green up again this year?
Yes, Green-Hanson is having Clean Up on April 29th.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome. We would love to get involved.
I know, that was that was fun last year.
Yeah, it's a fun day. It's 60 or so people are out there cleaning up
Yeah.
the roads, and then pizza afterwards. And
Yeah.
so let's see, other projects. I feel like you mentioned something else you've done also in the past, or
Well, something that we've been working on for a couple years now is, like we were saying, the food waste in the cafeteria, but also the sustainability. Because a couple years ago, probably 10 years ago now, we used to have reusable like plastic trays, and then the cafeteria still has a whole like dishwashing machine that they could use to wash the dishes, but it was even before COVID, they switched over to styrofoam trays because it was just more efficient, and I think a lot of the kids were throwing the trays in the trash.
Yeah.
oh no.
So we've kind of been like gathering like a plan to like get the plastic trays back. So we've been doing a ton of research on the cost effectiveness of it and how after a few years it would like totally outweigh the cost of styrofoam trays. So there's a new food services director, Mrs. Doucette, who we've recently reached out to, and she seems like very interested in getting the plastic trays back. And something we've been talking about, you know the bins at Panera that are like have the opening so you can't throw the entire tray in?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful.
Yeah, we were thinking about like just making those with like wood or
The trees
something.
are like this big and they're throwing them out?
Yeah.
Oh
they were
my
throwing
gosh.
them in the bins. Yeah. So we're thinking if they're worried about that, we can just make bins with holes that won't even fit the trays.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to implement that. Maybe not during my time, but maybe that's something for
maybe
you
that's
guys
something
next
that we
year.
can take charge of next year. So.
Absolutely. I was a little worried, like you said, at the end of last year, our numbers were kind of dwindling,
Yeah.
especially when a bunch of seniors left. And I kind of worried about that. I was like, oh, after I leave and my grade leaves, like what's going to happen? But we've had so many freshmen come in.
Yeah.
There's like a group of 3 or 4 that's always there, and I'm so grateful for that.
I know.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you also talked about trying to get a greenhouse. You said compost. Oh, you mentioned that already. And then you said maybe a greenhouse.
Yeah, so the greenhouse we've been trying to work on for a couple of years, and we haven't gotten the okay. We were going to do one for the roof, which was raise the roof.
Project Raise the Roof.
And it's gardening, not the roof one. Was it an actual garden or the kind of garden that you have on the roof to minimize heat and things like that?
We were thinking probably a combo of both.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a flat roof, obviously then. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were thinking that, but we haven't gotten that approved. But we want to we want to get one eventually. For we have a small one on the 3rd floor, but it's mainly just used for the environmental science kids, and they also have a small compost system running there too. Like it's just a couple buckets, but like we were maybe hoping that if we can get an actual greenhouse, then it could be on a like larger scale.
Yes.
And we could even grow food for the culinary classes. Yeah, that would be awesome. And
And I love how you're mixing other groups.
Yeah.
You're involving other groups in the in the in the school also as you talk about your projects?
Yeah, we love to involve other clubs. Like for our food waste week, we need like lunch monitors to make sure kids don't throw food waste in the trash or throw stuff they shouldn't be in the food waste bins. So we're trying to recruit the NHS kids who need volunteer hours, Science Honor Society. So that'll be good. Mr. Kozak, he also runs the robotics team. So he mentioned how if we do like a food garden on the roof, they can like maybe try to create robots that would water the plants.
That's
which
amazing.
Would be really
That's
cool. Yeah.
Like that would get people talking.
Yeah.
That sure would. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that would go viral, right? You know?
Yeah.
Whitman-Hanson has
Robotics
on the roof.
robotic garden.
Yeah. Which is nice.
Yeah. So anything we haven't talked about that you're doing or you'd like to share? Covered a lot.
I mean, something that I've always had like in the back of my head is to maybe do like more community outreach by getting like middle and elementary school kids involved. Maybe starting something similar to S.E.A.C at the middle schools.
Trying to like raise awareness, maybe have like assembly or something, or just have people like come in and talk to them about it. Maybe get them like thinking for the future. You know.
Exactly. I had no idea about S.E.A.C until I came in like the first month of freshman year.
Like the rally they have of all the clubs, like that's when you learn what all the clubs are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not until you get there. I know the middle school in Hanson has been involved. The Builders Club has done things. They're actually very interested. I talked to the advisor. He was interested in some of the food waste.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we would love to.
They have teams and projects that they're doing. So
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really
I think
good.
they have a civics project for everyone. So,
Yeah.
and I guess I have a question before we wrap up. Like, if you could send any message to people listening to this, whether they're your age or older, any, you know, what might you want to say?
I would say that like, as much as you try to ignore it, climate change and environmental issues, they're just doing nothing but getting more prevalent. They're real. At this point, you can't ignore it. Like, it's gonna affect you at some point, one way or another. So I feel like you have do something about it. You guys can people can take charge of it. People can work on recycling at their house better. People can work on unplugging appliances, just turning lights off, taking washing their clothes with hot cold water. Just you can take initiative in your own homes because it's not going away anytime soon. It's not gonna it's gonna stay here. You know.
Great advice.
Absolutely, I agree. I would say that nothing is too small to fight against climate change. Everyone can do something. And while, of course, climate change is something we can all fix individually, it's also about the people who are running our country and our leaders. So it's great to always do what you can individually, but also put pressure on the ones above you to make real systemic change.
Wow, both of you couldn't have said that any better.
Thank you.
That's so great. I feel very inspired whenever I stop by at a meeting to hear what you're doing. I just get inspired. It's like best day of my week when I'm there because you have great ideas and energy. And I thank you for coming here today to talk about this, and look forward to just whatever else you're doing, and go food waste reduction.
Thank you so much for having us. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll go back to S.E.A.C on Monday and be like, guys, look at this.
Yeah, it'll be fun to have this showing. And
I know. Very, very good opportunity. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you
well,
so
thank
much
you for
having
coming.
us. Of course.
All right, so thank you for being here today, and hope to see you again at the Green Scene.